On Tech News Today, say goodbye to your wallet. You might soon be able to tweet cash. Plus, a software bug derails Nielsen ratings, and a major company associated with cameras is now getting into the virtual reality racket. All that and more coming up right now.
This is Twit.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by CacheFly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Monday, October 13th, 2014. This episode is brought to you by Citrix ShareFile. Enhance your workflow, send files of almost any size easily and securely with Citrix ShareFile. Try ShareFile today. For a 30-day free trial, go to sharefile.com, click the microphone, and enter TNT. And by Squarespace, the all-in-one platform that makes it fast and easy to create your own professional website or online portfolio. For a free 2-week trial and 10% off, go to squarespace.com and use the offer code TNT. Tech News Today is the show where we talk about the tech news with the journalists who report it. Welcome to the show. I'm Mike Elgan. Good morning, Jason Howell, and happy Columbus Day.
Thank you, I think, and congratulations. You had a big weekend.
I certainly did. My son right there and his new wife, Nadia, got married, and it was huge. It was at our house, and it was just absolutely awesome.
I can't help but notice that your voice is a little hoarse, so I have to imagine you were screaming at the top of your lungs like, yeah, go, or something along those lines, right?
No,
I could totally picture
a huge cigar.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, that makes more sense, maybe.
Yeah. So one of the fun things about this, we had a bazillion people taking pictures and selfies and group shots, and we had professional photographers and videographers. But despite all that, my son Kevin wanted to do some video of his own. And so he got his hands on a drone, and he shot drone video while sitting at dinner. And here is that footage.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. So that's him in the front there.
So even at the dinner table during your wedding, he was playing around with technology.
Yeah. And fortunately, the good news is that Nadia is pretty much used to this type of activity. So she's over it already.
Well, at least it isn't peering into a phone, unless this was controlled by through a phone interface.
Yeah. Now this was which drone was this? This was the Phantom 2, and it had the new GoPro, the 4K video GoPro. So this is 4K video.
It looks awesome.
And this is actually going to be used as B-roll to be put into the larger sort of official wedding video that we're making.
Heck yeah. The drones connected with like a GoPro, it's like the perfect videographer tool. Really? As you can see, because everything's so stable as it flies through. You can get these shots that you just couldn't do without huge cranes even 10 years ago.
Yeah. And it's really incredible, and it was actually entertaining for everybody who was there to see this thing flying around. He flew pretty low, and it's funny because he kept telling me he was going to do this. I'm like, oh, don't do that, because I felt like my job in this wedding mostly was to keep them off of YouTube, keep them out of the wedding fail videos. And I thought, no, flying propellers and wine and
that could have gone really tragic if this would have taken a plunge into the middle of the party, but it didn't.
It didn't, and the bride didn't catch on fire. Nobody face planted into the dance floor. My job was done.
A beaming success.
Yes,
obviously.
Absolutely. Anyway, that was that's amazing video, amazing technology, and if you or anyone you know gets married, make sure somebody does drone video, because it's just, unless it's indoors, in which case
it's the new requirement.
Exactly. Well, why don't we do the news?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, Twitter is working with a French bank to enable money transfers via tweets. The bank Group BPCE is the company that's behind this mainly, and the payments will be handled by the bank's S-Money service, which already allows transfers through text messages. The service is expected to be announced tomorrow in Paris, and Chris Merriman is a reporter for The Inquirer. Welcome to you, Chris.
Thank you, from a very rainy London.
Oh, wonderful. Well, we could use any amount of that here. It hasn't rained since the late 80s. So can you tell us about S-Money? What is this company?
Well, S-Money is it's a separate subsidiary, and what they've been doing up to now has been from mobile to mobile. And this new product that they've brought out involves Twitter, and it's literally the message. We assume it's going to be direct messages rather than having lots of sensitive information in the main stream. But yeah, one tweet sends cash to anybody with a bank account in France.
Now, if a company's already offering payments via SMS, isn't it pretty trivial to sort of do it via Twitter? And what took them so long, and what's taking other banks and financial institutions from doing this kind of thing?
Well, there is the security aspect that I hinted at, and then you're talking about the world's biggest chat room. So they've got to do it right to make sure that people's money is protected. And I'm sure even with the best will in the world, it won't be long until we see people taking advantage of the situation in the strangest of ingenious but evil ways. So we'll have to see. So that's one aspect of it. And I mean, I think the other thing though is that it's difficult because Twitter is still waiting to find its killer use. It has all this potential. It's a staple of the internet now, and yet it doesn't make any money, and nobody's really quite sure what it's for. We just all know we love it.
Well, your audio is a little strange. It sounds like you're coming from the planet Venus or something like that. But I think.
Right, hey, that sounds better.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
Great.
Cured already. Awesome. Yeah, Jason has a big lever. Good, not so good.
Right, I hit the button and it fixed the problem.
Thank you for throwing that lever. Yeah. So you wrote that this isn't a co-venture with Twitter. Is it a partnership? What kind of arrangement or deal do they have exactly?
The way that Twitter describe it is quite simply that it's an ingenious use of Twitter. That's all they say about it. There is no money gone into it. There's no direct connection to Twitter. They have lent a quote to say that they endorse it and that they think it's a great idea and people should be doing more stuff like this. However, they have nothing directly to do with it themselves, and I don't believe they'll benefit directly from it, apart from showing people the potential that Twitter has beyond simply telling people what you had for breakfast.
Spoke a little too soon on the quality of your audio. Still, we can understand you, but I do thank you, Chris Merriman, for joining us today on Tech News Today. Chris Merriman is at theinquirer.net, and you can follow him on Twitter at ChrisTheDJ. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, in just a sec, we're going to tell you about something that happened at Nielsen that really screwed up the ratings, and that's a really interesting story. But first, I want to tell you about Citrix ShareFile. Now, if you saw the video that I sent over to Jason this morning, that was a 4K video. It was about 4 gigabytes in size, and I needed it to get to him absolutely for sure. I needed to know when he got it, and I needed to get it to him quickly. And so I used, of course, Citrix ShareFile, which is one of our sponsors today. It's so easy to use. I basically just it's like sending an email, and it's like doing an attachment to an email, but it doesn't actually attach the file to the email. It uploads it into the cloud to a very secure place and then gives you control over the file after you've sent it. So you can shut it off. You can determine exactly who can download it, how many times. I set it for 10. I figure Jason might lose it 9 times, and then like the 10th time, that's it.
Well, it was such cool video that I downloaded it on 5 different machines because I had to have it everywhere.
And play them all at the same time. Yeah, so, and you can do that with ShareFile. But this is a great service, not only for security, not only for large files, but just for everyday sending around of attachments, because an attachment, a file and an attachment is one of the least secure ways to send things. And here's why. Even if you have 2-factor authentication, the people you send it to may or may not. You don't know what's going on. You don't even know for sure that they're actually going to get it. Maybe they left their job and somebody else has given access to that email address. You never know, but with ShareFile, you absolutely can control it, and that is a wonderful thing. Sign up today. 30-day free trial, no obligation. Go to sharefile.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and enter TNT. And remember, visit ShareFile and type in TNT. Well, Nielsen, the TV ratings people, said Friday that a software bug affected viewing estimates for TV shows during the fall season. And with us to talk about that is Jack Neff, a writer for Advertising Age. Welcome to you, Jack.
Welcome from Greater Cincinnati.
Oh, wonderful. And your audio sounds great, and that is very refreshing. How did this glitch affect Nielsen's estimates for TV audience viewership?
Well, they say it was a relatively small impact across a wide variety of programming, somewhere south of 2% of the ratings across 98% of the shows, something that would not even quite be a rounding error. However, what they didn't say was how it affected that other 2%. And it sounds like from various industry reports that ABC actually benefited the most in terms of the ratings for their fall shows. The other surprising aspect of it was that it went on so long without being detected, 7 months. It was only detected with the new TV season, and that apparently was because the effect was somewhat exacerbated by some of the changes that go in with the new season in terms of new shows and new network affiliate relationships.
Now, you wrote that the bug didn't affect advertising. Why is that? It affected the TV shows, but not the advertising.
Well, the advertising is paid for on a currency called C3, which looks at the average ratings for the commercials that are in programs that air live or are viewed in the first 3 days of DVR playback. And those ratings had not actually been published until today. The error was detected before that, and so presumably they could fix any of that error before it actually went out. And so the ratings that actually determine what networks get paid by agencies and by advertisers were not affected during the fall. Now, during those prior months, they were, but it sounds like the impact was so small that it wouldn't have actually affected any actual transactions anyway.
So how does this problem affect Nielsen's reputation and specifically their rivalry with Rentrack?
Well, it came at a particularly bad time because it came days after Rentrack announced a relationship with WPP, which is one of the largest advertising agency holding companies, owns one of the largest media agencies, and also one of the largest research firms, and puts them more directly into competition with Nielsen. Whenever you have news like that, it starts the dialogue about how gee, there isn't that much competition for Nielsen TV ratings, and the world would really like that to happen. And so any kind of news of a glitch, however small it may be, is not exactly good timing for that. And so probably because of the proximity of those two things, Nielsen decided to hold a background-only call with journalists switch over the course of the call because it ended up being primarily about the software glitch. The on background part of that had to fade away, and it became fully on the record.
Jack Neff writes at adage.com. That's the Advertising Age website, and you can follow him on Twitter at Jack Neff. Thanks for joining us, Jack.
Thanks for having me.
Camera lens maker Carl Zeiss is getting into the virtual reality business. The company launched a pre-order campaign for a product called VR1. Kevin Joyce is the editor-in-chief of VR Focus and joins us now. Welcome to you, Kevin Joyce.
Hi there. Thanks for having me.
So glad you're here. Now, what is the VR1 exactly?
The VR1 is it's a smartphone holder. You place your smartphone into the device and mount it on your head, and it becomes like an intermediary virtual reality device. It's a stepping stone to more complicated devices.
And which phones will it support? Now, this works kind of like the Samsung rather than sort of the Oculus Rift, even though the Oculus Rift actually kind of has a phone inside, sort of, kind of. So which phones will this support, and how does it support them? It looks to be some kind of a cradle of some kind.
Exactly. Right now, they're offering trays, which are compatible with the iPhone 6 and the Galaxy S5. But there is already a survey to see which other phones users would like supported. And, of course, down the line, there's nothing to stop someone from making their own tray with a 3D printer. So theoretically, in time, it could support any device you've got.
Now, is Carl Zeiss encouraging the manufacturing of these trays? Is that something they really want to happen?
No, not at all. They are offering the trays themselves on their website. They're $9.90 to order a tray. You get one with the device and then a second one. And as I say, they've got a survey for the ones that they wish to manufacture.
Now, obviously, you cover the VR space very carefully, and you've seen all the information there is about both this and the Samsung Gear VR. How would you rank these? How would you compare these at this point?
Well, as the VR one's only just been announced, I haven't actually been hands-on with it yet. But I have played more than a dozen demos on the Gear VR, and I rate the Gear VR very, very highly. So the VR one, as much as I'd like to see it be a recommendable device, it has got a lot to live up to.
Now, the company's making a big deal about something called interpupillary distance, or IPD. What do they mean when they say they deliver a, quote, large eye box? And is this important? Is this going to be a good differentiator for them?
Well, the IPD is the interpupillary distance. There's a distance between the two pupils, and everybody is different. They say that they have an IDP that's suitable for up to 90% of people, which theoretically is possible, but exactly how they're detecting people's IPD is not yet known. The Gear VR does it automatically through a camera on the phone and a lens that's inside, but we don't know how the VR one is going to do this. Technology could have moved forward and it could be possible, but we're yet to see any evidence of it.
All right, so when can I buy one and how much will it cost me?
Well, Carl's Ice say they're shipping them this year before holiday season, and it's $90.90 to pre-order, or €99. We don't have a specific shipping date yet, but we're expecting they'll be under the Christmas tree this year.
Wonderful. Kevin Joyce is at vrfocus.com, and you can follow him on Twitter at vrfocus. Thank you so much for joining us, Kevin.
Thank you very much.
All right. We're going to give you some updates on the right to be forgotten that you cannot forget, but first we're going to tell you about Squarespace. Squarespace is the most awesome place to build a most awesome website because they have 25 beautiful templates to start with. You pick one, you customize it. Later on, if you change your mind, you can just swap in another template with whatever the content is that you've already put in there. You can have a blog, website, whatever. Tech support is 24/7, and there's a complete, they're really good tech support. They don't slough you off. Kevin, my son, built his wedding website with Squarespace. He loves it. I built several websites with it. Sometimes I build websites just for the fun of it. It takes just a few minutes, and it's so easy to do. And, of course, it's mobile ready. You can do almost everything from a mobile device, and it looks fantastic from any mobile device, and it starts at just $8 a month. So start a free 2-week trial with no credit card required and start building your website. When you decide to sign up for Squarespace, make sure you use the offer code TNT, and that'll get you 10% off the already low price. And that will also show you support for tech news today. And remember that a better web awaits, and it starts with your new Squarespace website. Google released some numbers on how the company's handling right to be forgotten requests. If you recall from our earlier coverage, the Justice of the European Union established that the rule that in Europe, a citizen has the right to request the removal of their name as a search term that returns links on search engines to information no longer valid or relevant. According to the rules, the search engine companies themselves are responsible for choosing which requests are valid. One of the weird things about that ruling. Google's new report says the company rejects about half the requests made and has approved only a third. The remainder are still being decided. Well, the San Francisco 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick was fined $10,000 for wearing pink Beats, not because he was wearing pink ones. The pink was to raise awareness about breast cancer. Kaepernick has an endorsement deal with Beats, which is now owned by Apple. But the NFL has a deal with Bose. And as part of that deal, they've banned players from appearing on camera during games with Beats headphones. I think they should have tacked on an additional $10,000 for shamelessness. He's obviously wearing those headphones as part of his endorsement deal. And I have a sneaking suspicion, and he didn't want to comment on it, that Beats picked up that $10,000 fine. So it's all good.
You'd have to imagine so.
Yeah.
And that's probably more effective marketing for Apple and Beats than them paying for a 30-second spot during a football game.
And now they're on Tech News Today.
Right. How did they make it on the Tech News Today? How did this happen?
Brilliant. Well, the Polish town of Sobica has built a monument to Wikipedia. The statue, which will cost nearly $12,000, will be put in the town square to honor the wonder and the glory of the Wikipedia website. Look at that. It's the Wikipedia logo with 4 naked people holding it up. Man, that's going to be a destination for tourists.
Let me tell you.
Our TNT fan of the day is Cat Lake in New Forest, New Hampshire. I'm sorry, it's not New Hampshire. This is England. The original hamster, the Hampshire, the old Hampshire in the UK, who said her dog Toby and she tune in with a Nexus 5 and a Chromecast. She said it's the best gadget she ever bought. It's only $35, of course. How do you watch or listen to TNT? Just record a video or take a picture of your setup and post it on Google+, Twitter, or Facebook. And use the hashtag HowIWatchTNT, and we will find it. And Jason Howell, that is the Tech News Today. Thanks for playing that video. That was
no problem.
Yeah, that's great stuff. What's happening with our drone program? Is that
I haven't heard.
Tune in.
They're building drones. They're fixing our drone.
All right.
They're doing all sorts of drones.
All right. You heard it here second. Tune in to Know How. Yeah, I've been hearing about it. I've seen people walking around with drones and a screwdriver and stuff around the brick house. So hopefully that'll happen soon. Well, you can subscribe to Tech News Today on Stitcher, iTunes, YouTube, Feedly, Yahoo, RSS. So many options. Follow us on Twitter at Tech News Today TV, and please send us your thoughts and opinions. Send email to tnt@twit.tv or leave voicemail at 260-TNT-SHOW. Don't miss our evening newscast, Tech News Tonight, at 4 p.m. Pacific tonight and every weeknight right here on the Twit Network. My name's Mike Elgan. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow.